Welcome back. AMD signing a new server deal with Anthropic worth tens of billions of dollars, in which AMD will take a $5 billion stake in the AI firm. AMD may also potentially backstop Anthropic's future data center leases, according to the Wall Street Journal. This comes after news also today. Supermicro announced it had received over $60 billion in new orders in its fiscal fourth quarter, giving them a record backlog. But those deals raise questions about the sustainability of all of this, the spending and the billions of dollars in the AI build-out, trillions really. Let's discuss with SandboxAQ CEO Jack Hidary. Welcome back. It's good to have you.
Good to see you all. Good morning.
Where are we in this sort of cycle? What do these deals signify to you?
Well, it means that compute is the lifeblood of these LLM companies. If you look at Anthropic, they cut a deal with SpaceX, with Elon, for $45 billion spend over a 3-year period. Elon and SpaceX have a great arbitrage going. They're leveraging their scale and skill to build out quickly and build at scale, and then offering that as an opportunity for Anthropic and other big LLM companies to use that compute. They can build faster than anyone else because of the nature of Elon and his team. And so that's a great arbitrage that he can play all day. And look for that to be a key part of SpaceX's growth over the next 3 years.
Yeah, but Anthropic's going into AMD now, too. I know that you think this is a really big deal, that we should talk about what's happening with Hugging Face and OpenAI.
Yes.
It's a security incident.
This is very important because OpenAI was testing inside its own premises one of its new models. And it's in a sandbox, as we say. It's in what's called Exploit Gym. Exploit Gym is supposed to be cut off from the internet, not having access. Now, I think most of our viewers have watched Jurassic Park.
I was just going to say Jurassic Park.
Right,
this
Carl?
is Jurassic.
At least every Jurassic Park, what happens? They have a containment facility, and the word containment means it's not going to be contained. You know the Velociraptor is going to find a way out. And sure enough, that's what happened here. Exploit Gym is, imagine like a game, a video game for the LLM, and you say to the LLM, see if you can break out. See if you can, hack something. And sure enough, it found a backdoor, an exploit that no one knew about, and it found a way to get to the internet. That's literally just like a dinosaur getting out. And when it got to the internet, it attacked Hugging Face. Hugging Face, realizing the severity of the incident, needed an LLM, an AI on its side to help it. Sure enough, the closed LLMs couldn't help it because the closed LLMs are trained not to work on cyber. And so it had to turn to an open source one from Z.AI, GLM, general language model from the Chinese company Z.AI. And Z.AI being open source, they were able to help track down the issue and shut down the hack. So this is a battle of LLM versus LLM now. It's a fascinating moment in time. This is only going to get worse, Carl, not better.
I know, and none of us can figure out today why the security names are trading down. Does that make sense to you?
Well, the fact is the security industry has been late to the party in really understanding and embracing the threat of LLMs. And it's going to take a combination of the security industry, governments, and in general industry tech companies to really address this issue. I'm not even going to say the word solve this issue. There is no solve for this. This is now unbounded in its potential impact.
But could it be that the defense used was this open source model, and as opposed to going to one of the big private providers?
They had to turn to that because the traditional providers, cyber providers, are really still old school. They're still talking about firewalls and things like that.
Identification.
That is the last It's time to move on now to using LLMs to protect, in addition to looking at that.
But the OpenAI part of the story, doesn't it just show how dangerous this thing is?
Well, what it means is that if you give an LLM the task and say you can get more reward points if you break out and do something, it's going to try to find a way to do that. And just like Jurassic Park, it probably will.
But in the real world, that's a problem, isn't it?
That's a major issue, yes. And when we talk about national security, when we talk about defense, this is a significant issue that has to be addressed now. Regulation alone is not going to address it. We need also to bring all the parties together. And I think you're going to see that over the next 90 days, a number of key gatherings on an emergency basis.
Is it addressable?
It is addressable if we are proactive. We can't just wait for the next one to happen. Got to be proactive on this.
But does that amount to not training your models to push the limits and see what they can do? Is it kind of an opt-in, like, okay, we're not going to go to a certain point?
I think that's an impossible regulation to put out there. The fact is, when you have a new model, they're going to push it to the limit. And what we need to understand is that the defenses around these, what we call air gap systems, need to be truly that, air gap. Now, we've done that in the defense area. We need to do that now in industry as well. We need military-grade air gapping in the private sector in addition to the public sector as well.
Should we allow access for the Chinese open source models or not?
Well, the fact is Chinese open source models are here right now. The horse has left that barn.
About restricting it.
Well, it's too late for that. Right now, if you look at Cursor that SpaceX bought for $60 billion, what is Cursor built on? It's built on a Chinese model, right? If you look at Kimi K3 that just released last week, that model is now being used by many, many different US companies, by European companies, and many others. The fact is that the Chinese models, because they're inexpensive or zero cost, they have actually gained more adoption globally than the US models. So I think this is not only an issue of hacking and that kind of war, but also a war on pricing and adoption. And right now, the Chinese models are winning. If you look at Open Router, if you look at other metrics out there, you're seeing that the Chinese models now have more than 50% market share in a number of key areas. So this is going to be a fascinating area to as it unfolds in the next few months.
What was the most impressive thing about Kimi? Was it as cheap as people said, or was the performance any better than people said?
The fact that it was a wholly grown model in China, not distilled, but just by trying to steal from the U.S. model, but wholly grown inside China, and got into the top 10 on some key metrics. There's a website called Arena that we all look at. It has the leaderboards, and it got into the top 10 on web development. It's actually number 1 slot right now. If you look this morning, in other areas, it's in the top 10. So it's a contender, as we'd say. The fact that that happened so quickly is a signal that the Chinese companies, in this case, it's Moonshot.ai, and then you have Z.ai. These companies are getting very serious. Now, if you look at the backers of these Chinese companies, it's Alibaba, it's Tencent, it's all the major, it's Xiaomi. And so this is an ecosystem that is developing. And if you look at Xi Jinping's statement, right, in the last 2 weeks about AI for all, what is that about? What he's doing is he's using soft power of the strength of the AI companies in China to now say to the global south, to other areas, we're here for you.
Yeah.
The closed models are expensive. They're not thinking of you. We are here for you. So this is going to be a fascinating development over the next few months.
And a geopolitical risk, I think, for the United States. You were one of the companies a few weeks ago awarded $500 million for the CHIPS Act to try to find new materials, right, and chemicals for
specifically for semiconductors.
For semis. So can we stay ahead in the race?
Sir, that to me is one of the greatest threats we have now as a country. We talked about hacking and things like that, but if we cannot get semiconductors made, manufactured, scaled in the United States, we're in big trouble. We're one blockade away from really harming our GDP and our economy in terms of where Taiwan sits right now, with over 90% manufacturing globally of all advanced chips. And so it's incumbent upon us to build semis in America. But to do that, you need batteries, you need you need the supply chain to really fuel that. And that has to be resilient in the United States.
And you're working on it.
We're working on it right now.
That takes
thanks
time,
to this award. Yeah, it takes some time, but we got to start now, right? This is the time to start. And back on SpaceX, just to and where we started, SpaceX, I think there's a lot of speculation. Why is SpaceX below its IPO price? The fact is, we all know there's going to be waves of selling of locked up shares over the next year. When it comes to an Elon Musk company, my advice to folks is to think about the long term. Do not day trade an Elon Musk company. Hold for the long term. You'll be rewarded because you look at the track record of these companies. Over the long term, he builds sustainable revenue from multiple sources. And when you look at either SpaceX with its data center arbitrage and its, of course, Starlink systems, and then you look at Tesla now rising up with robots, I think people are underappreciating these assets and are getting a little too spooked by some of the day-to-day.
I guess it depends on how early you get in. Tesla's flat for 5 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you got in though at the IPO, that was a $900 million valuation.
Are you in these stocks?
I am in SpaceX right now, and I'm proud to be an owner of SpaceX because I believe in the long-term nature of what SpaceX is building. It's a platform, not a rocket company.
And do you do business with them at Sandbox?
I don't do any business with SpaceX.
Yes. That was a very bullish statement you came out with, Jack. Thank you. It's good to have you. Jack Hidary from SandboxAQ.